What's going on, Southeast Michigan podcast? Daniel back with you on this fine Wednesday afternoon. The Southeast Michigan podcast is, of course, free and available wherever you watch or listen. Up on YouTube, click the bell for notifications, subscribe, leave the show a review on whatever platform you partake to. All support much appreciated as always. So we kind of had a bye week, and now we're here for Michigan Northwestern, and we are a week away from Thanksgiving. We're a week away from the game, and our boys are fighting for bowl eligibility and being able to hang your hat on by beating your rivals in this down season. The Bryce Underwood recruiting saga has captivated the nation, right? You know, is he going to LSU? Is he coming to Ann Arbor? You know, Michigan fans have tried to take things into their own hands and go to the Belleville games and doing all this goofy stuff. We'll get into the football in segment 3 more in depth, but I feel as if today's recruiting is something I never thought I'd ever see. And the rumor number out there was $10.5 million for a kid to come on campus before even throwing a single pass. And of course, you're either in the camp of this has gotten out of hand, or you're in the other camp of, Michigan is trying to compete with the NIL stuff, and they have the resources to do it. And this is today's college football, but I don't like it. And this is a wild, wild west. We've talked about it before here, and to see that all this money is going to be dished out before really any proof in the pudding on the field, it's wild, absolutely wild. Let's get into segment 1 stuff here, though. Let's talk some Michigan basketball, okay? Michigan hoops, we are sitting at 3-1 overall in the year. Took down Cleveland State 101-53. Lost a game that they were in the lead for a majority of against Wake Forest on the at home. 72-70. Beat TCU 76-64, and then last night took down Miami of Ohio 94-67. The TCU game I was there for with Jeff, and we did a 3-game package. So I think we're lined up in February to see Purdue and Michigan State. So we had a nice little 3-game package. TCU happened to be kind of like the consolation, I guess. But it was my first time at Chrysler Arena since 2019. Seems light years ago. But or was it 2021? We just had this. I just had this conversation with Jeff. Was it 21 or 19? I can't remember. We saw Michigan State the last time we were there, so it's been either way. It's been quite some time. Michigan in that game had a rough first half. Going into the second, they were 15 turnovers deep and finished with 21. So much better down the stretch. It seemed as if each time they were double teamed, they were getting pretty careless with the ball. TCU almost had, that full court double team pressure like VCU, like the old Shaka Smart days. LJ Kason, Danny Wolf, and Roddy Gale had 4 turnovers each themselves. Starting lineup accounted for 14 of those. TCU was able to capitalize and convert those into 22 points. Trezerian White for TCU plagued Michigan for that first half, and in total he notched 2 steals, 16 points, 6 boards, 2 assists, 1 block, and he was 6 of 7 from the field. Former point guard Frankie Collins, he had a rough night on paper, and I felt like he's probably pretty motivated to go up against his former team. Of course he was on Juwan Howard's team before, transferred to Arizona State, beat a Michigan team with the Sun Devils, and now he was a Horned Frog. But despite having a rough night overall, he did have a nice poster in the game that got the team and him fired up. But like I said, for the most part, Michigan had him in check. He only shot 3 of 12. With the rough first half, Michigan uh, played they got lucky. TCU couldn't hit a layup. Okay, if TCU wasn't shooting less than 35%, this game could have been down to the wire. Um, Coach Josie May has been vocal about the weaknesses the team has, and it was somewhat a relief seeing the second half adjustments, and of course we've seen that last night as well. But the team will need more time to gel and get that feel for the system as we go. Vlad Golden, still needs some work. Doesn't seem to have a killer mentality down low. Going to have to keep working on his offensive game, averaging about the same minutes as the last 2 years at FAU without the same output. Okay, the level of play will take some time getting used to. And last night, I felt like there was one play where Vlad did throw it down pretty hard, and I felt like that was kind of a breath of fresh air. And I seen him you know, get to the rim because you're 7 foot 11. You gotta back up and hit your head on the rim. So it was nice to see that. Um, Again, originally I was writing these notes right before this game tipped off, but 18 turnovers in this one, 44 rebounds to Miami's 23. So they're out rebounding teams, which is a good sign. They're playing solid defense. It's just sloppy fundamentals. And again, this was another game where first half it's like turnover after turnover after turnover, but then you watch it in real time, and it's almost like a 180 in the second half. So again, it was a delight to see. So last night they, going half up 44-36. And then in the second half, they hold Miami to only 31 points. They score 50 themselves. So you finish with a score of 94-67. They do cover. I believe the spread here was 23.5. So it didn't look pretty for a second there. But Trey Donaldson is seemingly just just it's not the point guard is the quarterback of a basketball team, but he's really holding his own there. That has been a very nice addition. He was 3 for 4 from 3 point, 6 of 9 from the field goals. He had 2 boards, 4 assists. He only turned it over once. Danny Wolf had 5 turnovers, and Danny Wolf is just like Vlad Golden have to work on some of the parts of their game. And if Danny Wolf can, get down to like maybe 2, even 3 turnovers per game, I think that'll be a huge thing for them right there. But Vlad Golden got back into, once they get back into, but got 8 points, 6 boards. So better numbers than we've shown so far. Danny Wolf down on the points, 9 only last night to 9 boards. Still pretty good though. Almost a double-double. Justin Pippen getting some minutes. He played 13 minutes last night. Hasn't really done much offensively, usually passing the ball. But he took a couple charge penalties, and that really kind of swung the momentum in their favor. I tell you what, Justin Pippen is doing a lot of small things right, and that's been also a good thing to see. But can't say enough about Namari Burnett having a real almost a comeback player of the year type season. He was looking for I think he entered the NBA draft and then same day rescinded it and it came back to Ann Arbor. But I'll tell you what, he's having a good year so far. Compared to last year, he's playing a little less minutes in total, but his field goal percentage is up. His 3-point percentage is up. His rebounding's down by 1, not much. His assists are almost the same. He is up on his points. So just the overall level plays better, and then that also is a breath of fresh air, and he's been a huge contributor of this ball club. Let's see here. I don't got much else on more on basketball, but they play tomorrow night. Today's Wednesday. They play back. They're on Thursday. They got Tarleton State. Tarleton State is on a 3-game losing streak. They're 1-4, and I think Michigan's the. I don't think the spread is out on that yet. At least not on ESPN. But you assume Michigan wins that one. Let's try to keep the turnovers down below like 12. That'd be great because they will then host Virginia Tech. After that, Virginia Tech right now is 3-1. So they got the Hokies on the 25th, and then they come back after the holiday to go on the road at number 19, Wisconsin, to follow up with Iowa. So the schedule is going to get a little bit tougher here. Again, I think this team, gun for third place and become like a 6 or 7 seed in the national tournament. I think that is a huge win for Dusty May and company. But let's see here real quick. Well, Wisconsin, see who they got in the meantime. Wisconsin's still 5-0, ranked 19th. They almost lost last night. They played UT Rio Grande. They were going back and forth to that club for most of the night and ended up winning by 3, 87-84. The Vaqueros held the ball till like the very last moment, tried to score, take it to overtime, but it didn't happen. But Wisconsin got a run for their money. Let's see, the Badgers will have UCF, Chicago State before Michigan, so I would assume that they'll be 7-0, probably close to the top 15. So Michigan will have a huge game to start conference play, and I'm looking forward to that one. Let's see here. Yeah, looking forward to that one. Hopefully, Michigan can take down Virginia Tech and go into that Wisconsin game with some confidence and some momentum. All right, so when we come back, we're going to get into Michigan hockey, and we'll check in with those boys over there. All right, back for segment 2. The Michigan hockey program tied for 5th in the rankings with Maine. Let's pull this up right here and watch with me, or look with me. Come on now. There we go. So top 20, you got Denver, still 12-0. Denver is on a roll. They are 12-0, sitting at 1. Michigan State 9-1. They're at 2. You got Boston College at 3. Minnesota at 4. Michigan and Maine both 7-2 at 5. Colorado College, Cornell, Western Michigan, Providence, St. Cloud State, North Dakota, Boston, Ohio State, UMass Lowell, Dartmouth, Minnesota State, Quinnipiac, Clarkson, and UMass. Michigan split with Minnesota State earlier in the year. Minnesota State is 8-4. They swept Boston University, who are now at 5-5. They'll be getting to Ohio State soon enough, but they also, I believe, split with St. Cloud State, and they're 8-3. So Michigan has played some high-level competition so far. Here's the current Big Ten standings. Michigan State with 12 points, 4-0 in the conference. Minnesota with 11 points. They're also undefeated in the conference. Wisconsin's with 11 points as well, but 3-5. Michigan in 4th place with 5 points. They're sitting at 2-0 in Big Ten play. Same with Ohio State. Notre Dame, Then Penn State and Michigan, of course, has got Penn State coming up this weekend for a 2-game series. Penn State, yeah, with 1.0-4 conference play, they're 4-5 overall. The Penn State Nittany Lions are on a 4-game bender as well. They beat Alaska in OT and then beat them on the follow-up sweep game. They lost to number 8 Quinnipiac at the time. They swept St. Lawrence, and then they went to Minneapolis and lost to the number 4 Badgers, or Golden Gophers, excuse me. And then they lost 2 in a row to Wisconsin. One of them was an OT loss. And so now they got Michigan back-to-back before they take on Colgate. So Penn State is kind of reeling here, and we'll see if the Michigan Wolverines can take them down. But yeah, Michigan is playing pretty well in hockey. And again, if you guys don't know, I'll be going to Wrigley Field here in January to watch them take on Ohio State. And that same night, I believe Penn State plays Notre Dame. So it's 2 games for the price of 1. Really, can't wait for that one. Love Chicago. It's a pain in the ass to drive there, but yeah, can't wait to be at the Frozen Confines series. They're going to be doing it next year as well. I believe Wisconsin's going to be one of the teams. They're going to be mixing it up with a few of them, but yeah. Anyways, very quick update right there. But Minnesota's on fire, or excuse me, Michigan State's on fire right now, and they got Trey Augustine, the nation's best goalie in my opinion. So the Big Ten is going to be shaping up to be an absolute bloodbath. We'll see how they see how Michigan navigates this tough schedule here. Because even though they swept Notre Dame, that's no easy feat. To sweep back-to-back weekends is no easy feat. When we come back, we will get into Michigan football. What's up, Southeast Michigan Podcast? When our community wins with us, we want to ensure you've maximized your ROI. Line shopping for the best odds matters, and that is why any profitable sports bettor needs to be using multiple sports books. Thankfully, there has never been a better time to get signed up, and we are here to connect you with the best promotions industry-wide. Using our link, signupexpert.com/southeast. You can get access to all sports books in your region, along with a review of each platform and its unique features. Most importantly, this page automatically connects you to the top promotions at each book, allowing you to start line shopping with an enhanced bankroll. If you want to take advantage of these benefits, like Fanatic Sportsbook right now, bet and get up to $1,000 in bonus bets, then please consider signing up for the next book at signupexpert.com/southeast. All right, folks, back for segment 3. Let's talk Michigan football. Been a season, right? Okay, so Michigan 5-5, taking on 4-6 Northwestern. The Michigan Wolverines are -10.5 favorites. The over/under is 36.5, and Michigan is -450 on the money line. Michigan opened as a 12-point favorite, and that over/under line was at 30.5. So the numbers have come down. Northwestern quarterback Jack Lausch, dead last in rating, and this is in the Big Ten. Dead last in rating, 15th in passing yards, tied with Davis Warren, dead last with 5 touchdown passes, dead last in yards per attempt, 15th in passing yards per game. So, if it was any other year, it'd be like, oh wow, dude, they're gonna get murdered 49-0. Running back Cam Porter, 21st in rushing yards with 424, tied for 14th with 6 rushing touchdowns, 28th in yards per carry at 4. AJ Henning leads the team with 3 receiving touchdowns. Wildcats have accounted for 20 sacks as a team defense to Michigan's 25. Both defenses have 7 receptions on the year. Northwestern is averaging 105 yards on the ground per game to Michigan's 155. Excuse me. Northwestern is averaging 178 yards through the air per game to Michigan's 134. Michigan is allowing 102 rushing on the ground, right near the Wildcats' average per game. My overall thoughts on this one is just by looking at the numbers, Michigan's going to win this one in fugly fashion. Each time they have played anyone with a pulse, they have lost this year. Somehow even beat, excuse me, and this is regarding Northwestern. Each time they have played anyone with a pulse, the Wildcats, that is, they have lost. Somehow they even beat Maryland a few weeks ago. However, the Terps turned it over 4 times. I'm not saying Maryland is good, but that is probably their best overall win. Michigan should win this by talent alone. This is a victory if they can stay plus in the turnovers and avoid yellow laundry. Michigan is a 12.5 point favorite, blah, 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 with the 37 over under. So obviously, just in one day, the line has changed quite dramatically. Would not be shocked to see a 20-13 scoreboard. So I think first one, 20 wins. Despite everything that's going on, Michigan has continued to do well in recruiting. They lose Ivan Taylor. He was, I think, at a Notre Dame commit. They flipped him to Michigan. And, he's Ike Taylor's son, and now he had since now gone to the Crimson Tide. Michigan has they just flipped a Pittsburgh commit earlier today. They got another commit the other day, and the reason why I don't even have the names remembered other than Ivan Taylor, because Ivan Taylor's been committed since I think July. It just until the name is in ink on paper, I'm not even consider it. I don't want to say a positive, but not even gonna worry about it. With the basketball class, however, definitely can be excited for that because Trey McKinney is signed, and the other two part of that basketball class are signed now. So that's set in stone. And with Michigan football, we still, I think, have at least till after the Ohio State game for National Signing Day, right? Or early signing day period. And nowadays, that's pretty much where not everyone comes in to begin with. But still don't know about Bryce Underwood. And with losing Carter Smith, um, I don't know if it's glaringly obvious, but seeing all the attention that Bryce Underwood got, all the NIL package, Carter Smith, said, "All right, guys, see you later." Very highly doubtful that he reconsiders and comes back. And you listen to one insider, they're saying, "Oh, Bryce Underwood is, we think 60-40, then you over here, and it's more 90-10." I don't think he's going to come here, and it's pretty eye opening that someone who's that highly rated out of your backyard is still going to choose Brian Kelly to be his head coach down in LSU than up here in Ann Arbor down the street. It's pretty telling. LSU is not having probably the year they want to have either, but just got to roll with the punches. The Michigan recruiting class is still pretty solid. They just don't have a QB. So, transfer portal, anybody? They have to land somebody in that portal with or without Bryce Underwood. And I don't know. When that portal opens up, I'll be keeping my eyes and ears to the ground, especially to see if we see a Jaden Davis under that. That that situation is so baffling to me. Like, there was so much hype around that kid committing last year, and ever since he started dropping in the high school rankings in his class, it's just not a lot of word about him. And hopefully, whether it's in a Michigan uniform or elsewhere, hopefully that kid enjoys success somewhere. So again, with that being said, Michigan probably going to beat Northwestern in a grumper fashion. The Ohio State game, I mean, there's zero confidence going in that. So I don't even know. I mean, game week, morning of, I'll probably be in my feels and be hyped to watch it, but I'm not expecting much of anything out of that game. Brady Hoke was always able, no matter how shitty his teams were, to get the boys up and ready to play Ohio State and be competitive. I'm just very curious to see how the Michigan locker room is energy wise on a down year going into Columbus. Are they going to be up to the challenge? And we'll see where everyone's mindsets are on that Saturday. Ohio State's got a big one this week, and as I mentioned that, let's get into games this weekend. The weekend, I'm honestly not really impressed with the matchups. This is the week where a lot of people are talking about it, of course, um, but like this is the week where SEC teams play Albion College and Dartmouth, and so it's essentially probably. Would you stop it? Oh, my dogs are morons. Um, See a school bus go by, game over with. All right. Anyways, Ohio State, Indiana. Last time the Hoosiers won a bowl game was in 1991 in the Copper Bowl versus Baylor. Outside of 2020, Indiana hasn't been in the top five since 1967 when they went 9-2. Last victory over the Buckeyes was in 1998 and 1987. So, can the Hoosiers continue their historic run? My gut's telling me that Ohio State is just going to deep pants them. I think Ohio State, according to my gut, is going to absolutely mollywop Indiana. Of course, I want Indiana to beat Ohio State. I'm not one of those guys who are like, well, I want Ohio State at their best when we beat them. No, I want to see Michigan State, Ohio State, Notre Dame. I want to see them lose literally every single game, and again against Michigan, of course. But it would be nice to see Indiana spoil it. Michigan probably can't do it. So if Indiana can do that, keep Ohio State out of the Big Ten championship. That'd be fantastic. Oregon has already cemented its place to be one of the two teams in Indy. So with that being said, game on. The game is on, and hopefully the Hoosiers can continue this run. I've said it before. I was so wrong about the Hoosiers this year. I did not think a Ohio Bobcat quarterback transfer, Curtis Rourke, and a James Madison coach would come in here and 180 this program. Now, they haven't played the toughest of schedules, and part of me that's now leaning towards this mollywop on Saturday is when they played a good defense, or I'm going to say a good defense, a better defense, the best defense they played all year in Michigan. There was a little wide eyes underneath the taillights of that car coming at them. I was trying to say deer in the headlights, but you know what I'm saying. Like that part of that game where Michigan, of course, still lost to them. Curtis Rourke. I mean, he looked looked a little shaken out there a couple times when things weren't going right. But I think Ohio State takes care of business. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the game is close. I don't know if it's 100% true, but I saw a tweet today that center Seth McLaughlin, the Alabama transfer, is out for the rest of the season with an injury. I think it was an Achilles. Ohio State's probably Achilles heel, no pun intended, is the offensive line play. How is Indiana's defensive front going to handle that when they're trying to run the ball and run RPO with Will Howard? I'd be curious, but I part the dark side of me is just saying that Ohio State wins big. Number 24 Army at Notre Dame is the other one, and that's it. That's literally it. These two games are the only ones I would be willing to watch. Again, this slate this weekend to me is blah. This is part of the season where, like I said earlier, SEC plays Citadel and sits their starters by the second quarter. So That's about it. Let's get into my game bets before we wrap it up. So, if you've been following the show, you know that this fall I had just been too crazy with my schedule and my personal life. Um, so I haven't been able to do a couple episodes here and there. So we haven't done 3 games every single week, but I've been trying to give you 3 bets that I personally bet on every Saturday. And it's just, I cannot nail down college football this year. ALCS and NLCS, and part in the first 2 games of the World Series, I was on fire. NFL, been pretty decent. College, man, last year I had a knack for it. This year, I just cannot gauge it. Couldn't gauge Indiana, put too many chips on Iowa. Um, is what it is. So I'm 6-10 for what we've done here on the show. Pretty gross. So, the last week we did the show, I struck out, uh, and this is before Halloween. So Red River Robbery had an historic total final score, and this year it was way low. The total scores in the past like 5 games were like 101, 65, 79, 86. It was crazy, barn burners. And this year, I mean, I think the over under was like 58 and a half, and it was a 34-3 game, 31-3 game. Weird. Washington, I had on the money line. They crapped their pants versus Iowa, and UCLA scored a late touchdown to slip inside the spread. So, yeah, I was over 3 that week. So I went from 6-7 to 6-10. So this week, let's right the ship. We got to finish out in the plus before bowl season. Okay, so for my next 3 on the upcoming this week, for this upcoming weekend, I got 3. Game 1 is Illinois at Rutgers, -1.5. This is a game where both teams are dead even. You're in a dead heat, 1-5 or 1.5, excuse me. So I'm taking the number 24 Illini to cover that on the road at Rutgers. Now, game 2, Northwestern at Michigan, right? We've already talked about the lines moving and shifting. As of my notes, the under 37.5. I don't think this is going to be a high scoring game. And if my prediction 2013 comes correct, that is just underneath that line right there. Now, game 3, Colorado at Kansas. The over-under for that is 59.5. I am smashing the over. I am taking Colorado and Kansas to bust that and just run wild. Now, watch that game happen to be like the Red River Robbery, where it's 31-3 or 34-3, whatever it was. Watch it be kind of a repeat of that. I'll be pissed. But those are my 3 games. I'm no expert, right? But I'm simply relaying, my thoughts and opinions, of course, on the show, as well as my kind donation to my fellow sportsbook of choice. That is going to wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining another edition of the show. I'm actually on the way out the door pretty soon. Going to go actually to the Toledo, Ohio game. Looks like it stopped raining in Southeast Michigan. It's getting pretty gross out there, but nonetheless, I'll be up in the suite, so I'll be dry regardless. Anyways, thank you again for watching the show. All the social media links will be in the description. And then, again, the next time you open up an account on a sports book, check out signupexpert.com/southeast. Again, that link will be down below as well, and take advantage of the offers that are available to you. Anyways, go blue. We'll see if the boys can get to 6-5 before traveling down to Columbus. Deuces.